All right, so like we do every single week and all the time, we are here with a full guide video on how to get the ASTRAEUS Serenade. If you were with me in the live stream, you know the nightmare that we just went through in order to complete this. So I'm going to try my very best to go ahead and walk you through this entire process. Starting with step number 1, we're going to make our way over to Sunstone. If you have not already gotten the Dusky thread from the previous video that we did, give or take about 3 or 4 weeks ago. As soon as you arrive here, you're going to make your way up to where Merlin is, and basically what you're going to need is 3 things inside of your inventory. Number 1, you're going to need a Serene Radiant Crystal, a Breeze Radiant Crystal, as well as a Celestial Radiant Crystal. You can either go ahead and catch these, or you can trade for them, have someone give them to you, whatever it may be. All they have to be is inside of your inventory. In case you aren't aware, in order to fish for the Radiant Crystal, you do need to talk to Merlin. Choose the option that says, I need to enter the chasm, and then select I'm ready, which will then give you this buff on the left-hand side called Merlin's Veil 1. That will then allow you to travel through the backside over here of Merlin, drop into the water, and you can swim straight into this purple chasm right here, which then brings you inside of the mine shaft, and you can fish inside of this pool right here to get radiant crystals. Now, once again, once you have every single one of those 3 items in your inventory and you come back to Merlin, speak to him, he will have an option to basically craft the Dusky thread, which is what I am holding in my hand. For the next portion of this, you will need, unfortunately, to have a specific season active. One of 2. Either spring or autumn. And the reason for this is because you need the Cursed Isle to spawn in, and the Cursed Isle only spawns in at nighttime during the spring and autumn when there is a foggy night. So if you notice right here, the Cursed Isle has emerged from the fog. If we travel over here to the Cursed Isles, you'll find this little hut right over here where normally you would come in here and purchase the Great Dreamer Rod. Well, right outside of it, exactly where I am standing on this corner, there should be a little ghost that spawns for exactly 1 minute. When this ghost spawns in, you're going to notice that he has sort of like a patch of dirt kind of right in front of him. You'll need to basically put 3 items in a specific order inside of this patch of dirt. Number 1 is resin. Number 2 is driftwood. And finally, number 3 is a molten ripple. Starting over here with resin, you can find this at Mush Grove. It is considered a secret fish, but it really isn't all that difficult to obtain. All you need to make sure is that you're fishing inside of Mush Grove. Driftwood, on the other hand, is considered trash, so you could pretty much get this kind of anywhere. Just keep in mind that you are going for the lowest rarity, so that's just something that you have to constantly keep in mind when you're going for this. Something like a training rod would probably be your best bet in this situation. Finally, you have the molten ripple, which is a secret fish inside of the Roslet Bay volcano. Again, this one shouldn't be all that crazy. Just go ahead and put on maybe like a ruinous oath or something like that and fish inside of the volcano. Shouldn't really take you all that long to get, but either way, the point is that you need 1 of every single one of these. Now, as I mentioned before, this NPC is going to pop up and he's only going to be available for 1 minute at exactly midnight. So you basically have to wait until the last minute before it rolls over from night to daytime. It's a very small window, but if you're doing this by yourself, it really shouldn't be all that difficult. Unlike me, that had just about an entire server full of people standing on top of it, making it extremely difficult. So as you can see, he spawned for me. We're going to place the resin, then the driftwood, and then the molten ripple, which he will then give us a astronomical fretboard. You'll know that you're done, not only because you have the astronomical fretboard, but also because the actual patch of grass in front of him is going to be kind of on fire with blue particle effects coming out of it. So now, at this point, you should have the astronomical fretboard right here, as well as the Dusky thread. Let's move on to the 3rd and final item before this starts to get really crazy. So before we travel over to the final area of where you need to go before you actually get started with this entire quest, because yes, even though you are doing all of these 3 steps, you're basically doing these 3 steps in order to be able to unlock the ability to then start up the real quest. As you can see, we are currently at Northern Expedition because this is the next place that we need to go. But specifically, we need to make it all the way to the very top of the peak. Before you do that, there is 2 things that you need to get your hands on. Number 1, you need to get your hands on a heavenly flying fish, which, in case if you aren't aware, this is obtainable in the ocean. It's a legendary, so shouldn't really be all that crazy to get. The catch is obviously that it needs to have heavenly on it. The The reality is that there's only one way to obtain Heavenly, and that is by obviously having the Heavens Rod. So if you have not unlocked the Heavens Rod through the entire Northern Expedition thing, then unfortunately you will have to do that, because no, you cannot appraise for the Heavenly mutation. The next item that you'll need to get is a Blessed Moonwood, which again, if you aren't aware, the Moonwood is a legendary from Snowcap. And of course, the catch here is that Blessed can only be obtained through the Seraphic Rod, or of course you technically could trade for this because you're not required to catch these items. So do keep that in mind. You don't actually need to personally catch all these items. You can trade or have a friend get it for you. Either way, the only other thing that you'll need at this point is a Windset Totem as well as a Sundial. So now let's make our way up to the top and I'll show you guys what the next step is. All right, so we have arrived to the very top, and if you notice, right down there are the 4 crystals for the puzzle. Over here is the main camp where you would get your oxygen, and we are currently right up here on this little mountain. You can climb up using these ladders as well as like all of these other, little things to climb up. You get the idea. As soon as you're up here, you're going to be on this side. Just as a reference point, there are the 4 crystals. This is where I'm standing. Right over here in this corner is where the ghost is going to spawn. To get him to spawn, you'll need to go ahead and sundial for it to be nighttime. And you will also need to use that Windset Totem, so that way it is technically a windy night. Go ahead and pull out your Heavenly Flying Fish, and instantly the ghost will appear, which is the Spirit of Light. Speak to him, and he's basically going to ask you to give him an item. Switch now over to your Blessed Moonwood, give the item, which in return, he will give you Twilight Pegs. Now at this point, you have received every single one of the items that you specifically need in order to start the entire quest up. For this next step, you will need to make your way over to the music venue, which is located inside of Depths. If you have never made your way inside of the music venue, I do highly recommend that you bring yourself a chaotic enchant relic before you make your way down here, because you will not be able to access this unless you have this relic. As for how to get into Depths, I have a full guide. Look it up on my channel. It is called the Depths Full Guide video. Quite literally hold your hand through the entire process. Now, as soon as you arrive here, there is the merchant. We are going to travel in this direction. Over here is the area where you would put the Abyssal Enchant Relic, as well as the entrance to the maze right over here. We're going to jump on these rocks right in front of the waterfall, and we're going to fly right across to this little catwalk area. We're going to walk all the way to the very end towards the tunnel, and then just sort of walk right through it, where you will end up in the most beautiful part of all of Fish, Crystal Cove. Be careful when traveling here. If you touch the water, you will unfortunately instantly die. In the event that you have not unlocked the music venue, at this point right here, you're going to go ahead and grab your enchant relic, put it into this pedestal right here, and there you go. The hatch will open up right back here. So let's keep traveling across, and now we can jump into the music venue. Now, once again, I want to make this very, very clear. If you have followed along till this point and you skipped a couple of parts in the video, please keep in mind that you do need to have the astronomical fretboard, the twilight pegs, as well as the dusky thread in order to get to this point that I am at right now. As soon as you arrive here, you're going to need a Starfall Totem. Go ahead and activate that Starfall Totem, and then you're going to click on the microphone, you're going to click on the drums, and click on the guitar. This will then teleport you inside of the ASTRAEUS Void. Pretty straightforward from this point. You're just going to go ahead and travel up here, talk to the NPC, and then click on the question mark option, and then accept quest. And now, congratulations. You have now officially started the quest. If you notice on the top left-hand side, it says return a dusky thread to ASTRAEUS, which we already have. Return the twilight pegs, return the astronomical fretboard, return a lunar scrap, return a nova resin, catch 1 blue fish with the breezed mutation, catch 1 colossal ethereal dragon with the celestial mutation, and catch 1 profane leviathan with the serene mutation. Keep in mind that by the time that you're watching this video, the profane leviathan might change. I believe that they are currently considering, based off of what it says on the official wiki right over here, they are going to be changing the serene profane leviathan to a serene string times 2. Another thing to keep in mind is that it also is required to have 50 mil to purchase this. So just something that you want to keep in mind. If I go ahead and click on pay the 50 mil right there, it will cross that portion off of the actual quest. And if you would like to, you can also go ahead and trade in all those pieces that you did go ahead and collect already. The reason I say this is because we did run into a little bit of a situation where the dusky thread was disappearing for some people. I believe this has been completely fixed, or I don't really know what ended up happening, but the point is, at this point, if you follow along with the video, you should really only be missing the Lunar Scrap, Nova Resin, Bloopfish, Colossal Ethereal Dragon, and Profane Leviathan, or the String. Now, in the case of the Bloopfish, hopefully some of you kept that bloop whistle that they gave a while back. Maybe they'll give another one at some point today, because the wiki does have another brand new code that is not working as of right now. In any case, if you would like to try it for yourself, the code is Bloop Whistle 2. If it doesn't work, just give it a little bit. Maybe they just haven't released it yet. I don't know. The next thing on the list here is return a lunar scrap. This is supposed to really say lunar scrap metal. It's kind of confusing. A lot of you were reaching out to me asking what exactly was scrap, but yes, what it means to say is scrap metal. You can go ahead and obtain this obviously by just fishing for trash while using the Astral Rod, or even the, I believe it's called the Event Horizon Rod. Each one of those is a 5% chance to be able to get lunar, or of course, what more than likely a lot of you are going to do is get your hands on a scrap metal, go to the appraisal, and try and get your hands on it like that. Keep in mind, for the lunar scrap as well as the Nova Resin, you don't need to catch these. Like, you can go and trade for these. Now, once again, the next one here on the list is another one that doesn't need to be caught. It just needs to be brought back to the ASTRAEUS NPC, and that is the Nova Resin. The resin, we already went over that when you guys were trying to get the fretboard, so I don't really need to explain that all over again. Nova, on the other hand, can be fished up during a starfall at a 5% chance, or the Cerulean Fang as well as the Cosmos Rod will give you a 15% chance at getting Nova. Keep in mind, those of you that do have the Starlight Worm Bait, you can go ahead and use that at a 30% chance. Also, they did indeed change that to the 2 strings with Serene Mutation. All right, so that officially now leaves us with the things that we actually need to catch, being the Bloopfish with Breeze Mutation, Colossal Ethereal Dragon with Celestial, and now the 2 strings with Serene Mutation. Now, once you have successfully completed all of that and caught the 3 fish that you're missing, pretty much good to go at this point. You have now completed the ASTRAEUS Serenade, which, as you can see right here, is 100% lure speed, 400% luck, 0.2 control, 20% resilience, infinite max kg, with a plus 50% to progress speed. Now, I'll be honest, man, aside from this being the coolest looking rod in probably the entire game now, it also looks insanely cool when you're using it. So if we go ahead and use it here really quickly, you can see it goes ahead and dims your entire screen. It does have that progress speed. It drops like a bunch of sort of like stars out of the sky, and it increases that progress speed by a lot. On top of that, it also has a pretty good mixture of different mutations that you can get. You can get, I believe it's like Breezed, Celestial, and of course, if I'm not mistaken, also the ASTRAEUS mutation. So there's a good variety of different mutations that can go ahead and actually pop up with this. So it's pretty cool, man. Like, by far, probably one of the coolest as far as, like, you know, catching abilities and stuff like that. Or I guess passive. I don't even know why I just called it catching ability. That was weird. Anyways, one thing that I was told by Vanny, as a matter of fact, is that it's actually a lot stronger during a starfall. So something to keep in mind. Also, I just caught a Nova, so I guess it also does Nova. It's overall a really cool looking rod, man. It is obviously a very tedious sort of quest to go ahead and complete, but at the end of it all, you're actually getting a very, very good rod. Something that's unique, something that's really cool, and something that is limited time. This is not a permanent rod. It will be removed at some point. I don't know exactly when. At the very top of the comment section, if you're watching this later down the road, I will go ahead and specify what date it is going to be gone. Also, I just caught an ASTRAEUS one, or ASTRAEUS. That's basically what it looks like right here. It has that cool little effect on the back of the fish. Definitely super sick, dude. So good luck to you guys. If you're still trying to get this, I highly suggest that you do, and highly suggest that you do go ahead and take this time that maybe you have for Christmas break or whatever it may be, maybe winter break, to grind for this, because once it's gone, it is gone. You just have to wait until next Christmas, and wish for it then. Either way, man, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. If you have any additional questions, ask me in the comment section. I will try my best to answer them. If not, I'm sure someone in this great community that we have will answer your question. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.